Today's topic, 9 incredible money habits for doctors to establish ASAP. We're going to start with 4 Keystone Habits, which came from one of my favorite books, The Power of Habit, followed by 5 money principles. So we're going to give you some habits, your core, your foundation to build around, and then some good principles to follow as you progress. Consider this like a Finance 101 course. 9 things to keep in mind as you progress. Stay tuned. All 9 are coming up next. Keystone habit number 1, build and keep your emergency fund. I know it's not the most exciting topic. It's not the sexiest topic, but there is a reason why we have this in pretty much all of our videos and all of our blog posts and every single one of our financial plans. It is extremely, extremely important to have an emergency fund. I know you don't think anything's going to pop up on you, but it happens. It happens time and time again. And that's why we are big fans of the emergency fund. When things come up, it's okay to use the emergency fund. Sometimes people want to build this moat around and they never want to actually utilize it because they hit the number. They don't want to ruin it. But the goal is to use it to keep it away from your credit cards or dip it into investment accounts that should be left undisturbed for compounding interest. So this account is meant to be used and it's probably going to evolve and adapt over time. Usually we're looking at income, expenses, also family situation, business situation. Do you have even income? Even that as, a partner, maybe you have really good months and then slower months because you have expenses or it's just slower this time of year and those distributions are lower. That uneven pay is a good reason to have a certain amount in your emergency fund. And your emergency fund could even start to have different buckets. It could have different goals behind it. But the number one habit we're going to start with today for our Keystone Habits is emergency fund. Build that emergency fund that emergency fund, keep it funded. Keystone habit number 2, keep bad debt at 0. Emphasis on the word bad. Mortgage, student loans. You can even maybe throw in car loans here. Cars are kind of a necessity for most of us to get to work or to pick up our kids or take our kids to school. But when we say bad debt, we're really looking at credit cards, personal loans. Those are where we're going to focus. We want those paid off every single month. It's okay to use your credit cards, get your points, get your miles, but you got to make sure you pay it off every month. We have some clients that actually pay twice per month on their credit cards. And the reason we give here is you don't know when the credit agencies are going to pull your balances. So what we'll do is some clients will actually pay monthly, or I should say twice per month, because they want to keep it lower because they don't know when that data is going to get pulled. So your goal is to not only keep it at 0, your goal is to maybe even pay a little bit more aggressively to keep it at 0. Keep that in mind. You might want to pay more than once, or if you're ever getting up to more than 30% of your balance, this is called your credit utilization rate. That is something that can affect your credit score, which is another reason why sometimes clients will pay more than once per month on their card because they want to improve their credit score. So bad debts, keep them at 0. If you have bad debts, it's okay. This is not a shaming YouTube video. It happens. It's out there. You could have the world's best financial plan. All of a sudden, crazy thing happens and you need a credit card and you utilize it. The key here is to make sure you have a plan and get yourself out of those bad debts and work to pay those down as quickly as you can. Keystone habit number 2, get rid of those bad debts. Keystone habit number 3, auto savings on autopilot. Our goal here is to automate, especially in terms of savings. 2 of the most common areas that I look for in terms of automating our savings. I think automation is a good thing for a lot of things in personal finance because there are a lot of moving parts, but in particular on the savings mechanism, there's 2 that come to mind. First one is just your retirement plan. Through your employer, you set up your 401k or 403b. You want to automate how much you're saving. Ideally, you're maxing it out, but you're saving as much as you can, whether that's 4% or whether that's the absolute max that you can get into for a given year. As I record this in the year 2023, that max is $22,500 on your side as the employee. So our goal is to automate that. If you are not maxing it out, try to get in the habit of always increasing every year, whether that's 1%, 2%, or if you have a raise of 4% and you do 2% into it. These are all good habits to form. Not only does it allow you to get closer to maxing it out, but you're saving more. And when you're saving more to these types of long-term retirement accounts, you also are increasing your compounding interest there in the forms of long-term growth. The other area is just automating for your savings. So you have your money come in, you got to pay all the bills, but try to get in the habit of, as soon as that paycheck comes in, you will automatically direct X amount of dollars to your savings account. So as soon as that comes in on, let's just call it the 1st and the 15th of the month, you already direct $500 or maybe it's 2,000, whatever your number is, to your savings. Those are our two biggest ones that we try to automate. Other ones we want to keep on your radar is getting in the habit of maxing out your backdoor Roth IRA every year. Because it's a little bit easier to do this transition on an annual basis, we'll try to instruct our clients to always be saving on a monthly basis to maybe a separate savings account, and then we'll max out the backdoor Roth IRA. Your taxable investment account, another great place to automate, bring in all of your debts, right? Continue to automate there, but then maybe throw lump sums at them when you can. But whole key here is for Keystone Habit is automate as many things as you can, put those on autopilot, but then also continue to increase them and keep taking steps forward on your financial journey. Keystone habit number 4, budgeting, cash flow. I always say, I don't care if you do this daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually. Hopefully we're not going more than annually, but create a habit of updating your cash flow. Know where the money is coming in. Most importantly, know where the money is going out. So know where your income is, know where your expenses are, and track these things. It's not saying that you're going to find a magical $1,000 inside of your budget, but knowing what you're spending on certain things, or what you have on subscription and what you pay on utilities or your groceries, or what utilities went up in a given year, these are all vital pieces of information for your financial wellness. You need to know what money's coming in. You need to know where the money's going out. And this is where you can look at certain ratios, right? How much is going into your savings? What is your long-term savings ratio? How much is going to housing? How much is going to your total debt? So Keystone habit number 4 is that favorite word of so many, budgeting, or sometimes just keep it more simple. I even think a little bit better term. Cash flow, tracking your cash flow, money in, money out. But Keystone habit number 4 is you have to do some form of cash flow tracking or budgeting here, and you got to keep up to date with it. Even if it's an annual or a quarterly or a semi-annual, make a habit of getting in there and refreshing and taking a look at your budget. All right, we start our pivot. We are now into 5 money principles. Think of this more as 5 things I'm going to yell at you for. These are principles that I want you to keep in mind, whether they're things to avoid or things to take advantage of. So our first one is avoid tax refunds. I know it's exciting. You do your taxes, you're like, see if we hit the lottery. But remember, all a tax refund is you overpaid in your taxes all year long. And what did Uncle Sam give you? Nothing. He just gave you your money back. So you missed out on interest and savings through that entire year just to get your money back a couple months later. That's not ideal. Sometimes tax refunds are a part of someone's financial plan. They have been very consistent on their returns year after year after year, and they know that when that money comes in, they're putting that money towards their trip, right? The big family trip is coming up. And if you plan that way, don't let me tell you to fix that tax refund. Don't even adjust your W-4. Keep it as is. But for most of us, that's not how it works, right? We get the money in and we probably are going to go spend on something silly because we're like, oh, it's a bonus. It wasn't. You just overpaid in taxes. So the better fix here is adjust your W-4. Make adjustments to your W-4. This is your withholdings through your employer. If you're working with an accountant, they can usually make these adjustments pretty quickly for you. But your goal is to, I call it my sweet spot, is either get less than $1,000 refund or pay in less than $1,000. So I call it my $1,000 sweet spot. So keep an eye on those things, but adjust that W-4. Try to get more money in your take-home pay as opposed to that larger tax refund. It's just Uncle Sam giving you your money back. It was your money all along. I didn't even pay you interest. So avoid those tax refunds, adjust your W-4, and you should be in a much better spot to help you on the last money habit we discussed on that cash flow tracking. This should help you on the cash flow side. Money principle number 2, utilize the Roth. The Roth is one of my favorites, if not my favorite type of account in the investment world. The Roth is going to be utilized differently though by different people. And usually this depends on your current tax rate because we don't really know what your future tax rate is. If you do know that, let me know. That will make my job a lot easier. But usually as we describe it is if you are in a higher tax bracket, it's not a perfect science, but think 25% or more. If you're in a lower tax bracket, think 25% or less. If you're in the lower tax bracket, you may be in a spot to utilize the Roth today. So whether that's a Roth IRA, whether that's a Roth 401k or Roth 403b, that may be more beneficial now. For my other group of the high income earners, you're probably thinking, well, what do we do? Because at that point, you should be doing more pre-tax savings, right? You should be doing the pre-tax to the 401k, pre-tax to 403b, pre-tax to the 457b plan for most people. So how do you take advantage of the Roth? Well, this is where the backdoor Roth is so important and so vital, because the backdoor Roth doesn't waste any type of pre-tax contribution, right? You're using a non-deductible contribution to go in, then let that money settle. You're then converted it to your Roth. That's why they got the cool name, the backdoor Roth IRA. Regardless of where you are, keep an eye on the Roth. See if there are ways for you to utilize it. If you're doing that backdoor Roth, please do a little bit of searching to make sure that you know how to do it properly. You got to keep an eye on if you have any other IRA balances, traditional IRAs, simple IRAs, SEP IRAs. Those can all affect this with something called the pro rata rule. So keep an eye on that. And then most importantly, see if there are easier options for you. So I would say usually your easiest option on the Roth, especially for that lower tax bracket group, is just your Roth 401k, your Roth 403b. If your income is low enough, then go directly to a Roth IRA. Another good bucket for you. So once you get into that backdoor Roth, a little bit more research, keep an eye on that. The good news is for that group, you could still utilize the Roth 401k, Roth 403b. The downside is it's probably not beneficial for you. Your taxes are likely too high right now that you want to give up any of the pre-tax contributions, which is why that backdoor Roth starts to get very popular and why we utilize it for pretty much every client that we work with. So number 2 here, utilize the Roth. Money principle number 3, don't be scared of stocks. There is volatility. And when you watch an account balance go from, call it 10,000 to 5,000, it's not fun. I get it. It takes some calluses to get the understanding of stock market volatility and the movement that comes with it. And sometimes it's short downturns, sometimes it's long downturns. Historically, though, the stock market is your best net worth, your best asset grower with that compounding interest. So don't be scared of stocks. I think we've come a long way. It really depends on where you are from a cycle. If you're coming out of a bad down market or a bear market or heaven forbid a depression, that is where I think more are scared, where when you have pretty good markets or even average markets, you don't have as much hesitation. At the time that we're recording this video, the markets have been pretty well behaved for the most part, nothing crazy in there. And we don't see as much stock hesitation. No matter how much coaching we do, everyone's still going to come with their level of fear or anxiety of what the market can do. But don't be scared of stocks, especially for your longer term accounts, right? In your retirement accounts, you have decades that you're going to be invested. And retirement accounts, think about your 401k, 403b, your IRAs, Roth IRAs. Those are what we call qualified accounts. You can't utilize those without crazy penalties and taxes before you even hit retirement age. So these are really important things to keep in mind. You're okay to be more aggressive there. There's always 2 parts to risk, right? There's the risk that I can tell you to take because we know how much you should be taking, but then there's your part, and that part is just as important. Sometimes we do have to walk this back for clients or start to ease into it, or maybe put some stocks here, but then keep this one lower risk. But my main goal here is don't be scared of stocks. They do have volatility, but if you can control your emotion, stocks and investing are one of your best growth tools going forward. So money principle number 3, don't be scared of stocks. Number 4, reserve your retirement accounts for retirement. Retirement accounts are meant for retirement. And really the main thing I want you to take away from this is the longer you can leave accounts undisturbed and let compound interest do its thing, you are going to be in a much better spot in the long run. Markets have cycles. There are going to be down times and then up times. You need to just stay consistent, continue to invest, remove emotion, and you are going to be just fine in the long run. And that's the main thing when you think about long-term investing. These are decades long accounts. You don't need to worry about what the market does today, for the week, for the month, even for the year. When you look at these longer term stock charts, if you zoom into a real short period, it looks like these violent cliffs and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm getting nauseous looking at this thing. But then you spread it out over this longer time. And instead of going like this, it starts to kind of go like this. And then you spread out further. And all of a sudden, it just kind of looks like this line with this gradual growth. That's all you need. If you start investing early enough, you let compounding interest do its thing. I always describe it on our plan presentations. You don't need grand slams. You need singles and doubles, and you're going to be in a good spot going forward. So for this money principle, your key here is to not allow yourself to sneak into those retirement accounts. So even if they offer you loans and you can get money out and you can do this and you can do that, make that your absolute last option because you do not want to affect that compounding interest. So money principle number 4, keep your retirement accounts for retirement. Money principle number 5, don't pretend to be invincible. And this transitions us over to the risk management side of your financial plan. And in this money principle, we're really worried about life insurance, disability insurance. Life insurance, pretty straightforward. If someone relies on your income or if someone co-signed on your student loans, you need to have life insurance. If something happens to you, you need to make sure whoever was relying on you is in a good spot going forward. Sometimes it's simple, right? You just say, hey, let's replace 10, 20 years of income. But that's still going to be a pretty large number. Maybe it's paying off the mortgage. Maybe that's sending your kids to college. Maybe that's private school and then giving some extra money just they don't have to worry about financial hardships when they're going through the grieving process of losing, well, you in this example. That's where life insurance is really important. I would say when you're married, you probably need life insurance. When you have kids, you almost certainly need life insurance. Keep that on your radar. You're not invincible. While I hope you never have to worry about this, and I hope you buy term life insurance, keyword term life insurance, and I hope it's the biggest waste of money. I hope you spend money on those premiums for 10, 20, 30 years, whatever term duration you buy, because it means you lived a full life, right? We're good with that. But if any of those unimaginable happen, you're going to be happy you had it. Now, again, I always say this is very unselfish to buy this stuff because technically it doesn't do anything for you, but your loved ones are going to be so happy that you were proactive and you added that life insurance. The other vital insurance is for our more active accumulators. So when we're in those accumulation years, we always forget about this, but what's your largest asset early in your working career? Heck, even into the middle part of your working career. It's you, right? It's the ability to wake up and go to work every day. And there's only one way to ensure that. It's with disability insurance. More importantly, long-term disability insurance. There's also short-term disability, which is important, but for the purpose of this conversation, long-term disability, you need to make sure you have long-term disability. Again, most of the people that tune into our channel are physicians. Your group policy is probably pretty good. You also need to look for a private disability policy that has good true own OC coverage for your specialty, because that is really important, especially in the physician group, especially for our surgeons. So make sure you are looking for something with good true own OC. As we sit here today, there's only 5 companies you're looking for. That's how precise you need to be with disability insurance. So number 5, you're not invincible. Make sure you're adding in the proper risk management for both you and your family. And then this is your key risk management part to the overall principles of your financial plan here. And the 5 things I had to yell at you for today. So risk management, you're not invincible. While I hope none of these events occur to you, you want to be proactive here. And there you have it. 9 incredible money habits for doctors to establish as soon as possible, ASAP. Your principles and your foundations work together, right? You need to have those habits to also then go into those principles. And really, it's a list of 9 things I want you to keep in mind. It's 9 things I want you to focus on, 9 things to really build around. That's the whole goal of this post. Like I said, it really came from the book, The Power of Habit. And then I thought to myself, how can I put this into finance terms? And this is the 9 that I came up with. Could I add more? I certainly could, but we also got to put limits in place. So I hope you enjoyed it. As always, thanks for hanging out with me for the last 15 minutes or so. If you have not subscribed, now's a great time to subscribe. If you click on this little bell icon, you also get a notification every time we release a new video. Thanks again for tuning in, and I will catch you on the next video.